Hello, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we delve into one of the world's most fascinating and enigmatic places. Today's discussion focuses on the Bermuda Triangle, a subject of intrigue and speculation for decades. When we refer to the Bermuda Triangle, we mean the region forming a triangle between Miami, Florida, the island of Bermuda in the central Atlantic Ocean, and San Juan, the capital of Puerto Rico. This triangular region has been a topic of discussion for years. Let's begin with the olden days. The story begins in 1492, when Christopher Columbus approached this area with several ships. We can understand his experiences as he neared the triangle, thanks to his diary, where he recorded daily events. Christopher Columbus's writings have been translated into books and into different languages, and his memoirs have been made available to readers around the world. Christopher Columbus wrote, "When we entered this area, the compass began to behave erratically. Although we were heading west, the compass pointed northwest, as if it were confused." He wrote that while traveling by ship in this area, they saw a light in the distance, which seemed to move farther away as they approached it. Suddenly, the light would disappear, and they could no longer see it. Christopher Columbus never mentioned the Bermuda Triangle or anything similar. In this section, he only wrote these few observations, and after that, he never spoke of it again. These were Columbus's writings regarding this area. If we want to read the next account about this region, we must move 114 years ahead to the year 1606. In that year, an English ship departed from England with 150 passengers on board. As it was passing through this area on its way to mainland America, it was caught in a storm, one that ultimately sank the ship. Although storms in this area are not unusual, sailors around the world became fearful of it. This was also during the 17th century, a time when Europeans were deeply immersed in superstitions. As a result, this area quickly became known as a cursed region, or as the Spaniards called it, the Devil's Triangle. However, back then, it wasn't like today, where travel was frequent and news spread quickly. As a result, after a while, the Bermuda Triangle was forgotten. For 175 years, no one spoke about the region until 1881, when an English ship entered the Bermuda Triangle, heading northwest toward New York. Passengers aboard the ship reported seeing a vessel that was stationary and adrift in the water. The ship then approached to investigate. They discovered that no one was aboard, so a few people from their own ship boarded the empty vessel. At that moment, a storm suddenly began, and the two ships lost sight of each other. The next day, when they continued searching for the missing people, they found the abandoned ship again, but the ship was completely empty. This incident led to the Bermuda Triangle becoming famous worldwide. When such a story gains popularity, what do you think happens next? That's right. A lot of storytelling and speculation start to build up around it. In February 1918, the USS Cyclops, a U.S. Navy ship, was traveling from South America to the north and entered the Bermuda Triangle. The ship had 300 crew members on board, and no one knows what happened to it. It suddenly disappeared without a trace, and no evidence of the ship was ever found. More than 100 years have passed since that date, yet no trace of the USS Cyclops has ever been found. Not even a piece of wood or a single body. Dozens of books and articles were written about it, and various stories began to emerge. One such tale was that sea monsters had devoured the ship and its passengers. If you've enjoyed this video, please support us by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Your engagement helps us reach more people. Thank you for being part of our community. In 1941, another U.S. Navy ship, the USS Protest, with 58 crew members aboard, entered the Bermuda Triangle, and it too vanished without a trace. In 1945, dozens of World War II planes took off from a U.S. Air Force base in Florida for a training mission. They were supposed to return to their base after 3 hours. As they entered the Bermuda Triangle and began their exercises, all of these planes, along with their pilots, vanished without a trace and were never found. It seems that there may be some kind of air monster in this area, because the sea monsters are unable to take off and eat these planes. Of course, we don't know what these monsters are. If they were the size of Godzilla, maybe they could. Now we reach 1948, when another U.S. military plane with 26 people on board suddenly disappeared without a trace. In summary, up until today, around 70 incidents have occurred in the Bermuda Triangle, turning it into a complex mystery that many people around the world discuss. Everyone seems to be fascinated and bewildered by these events. It's important to note that the term Bermuda Triangle was coined in 1964. It was said that all these incidents occurred between Miami, Bermuda, and San Juan, with everything happening within this triangular region. When the name Bermuda Triangle was applied to this region, the mystery surrounding it grew even more intriguing and became more widely known. Anything that becomes this famous is bound to attract people looking to profit from it, such as Charles Berlitz, who wrote The Bermuda Triangle in 1974. This book made the Bermuda Triangle so well known that even elementary school children recognized it. The author became a multimillionaire, as the book sold 20 million copies within a few years and was translated into 30 different languages, making Charles Berlitz very wealthy. This book was entirely fictional, with the author embellishing all the events and linking them to aliens, monsters, and demons. Even though everyone who read this book knew that the story was fictional, they still enjoyed it. The reason is simple. Humans have always been fascinated by mysterious and enigmatic things. Such stories spark excitement and stir their imagination. A group of scientists also became curious to investigate what was going on there. Was it due to geological issues, or was the ocean somehow different in this area? In short, several people started conducting research. One of their questions was resolved quite easily. The storms. They discovered that the Bermuda Triangle is situated near the Gulf of Mexico, a region where the most storms occur. These storms help solve another mystery: the disappearance of airplanes. When a storm begins in this region, not only does the ocean become violently turbulent, but the skies also turn chaotic. An airplane cannot easily navigate through such conditions and gets caught in winds reaching hundreds of kilometers per hour, ultimately crashing into the ocean. The storms in this region are so powerful that they can easily destroy airplanes and ships caught in their path, potentially even reducing them to fragments or dust. The scientists reached these initial conclusions, but that didn't mean they were satisfied. They still wanted to understand more. Next, they closely analyzed global incidents in the air and at sea to pinpoint the locations where such events occur most frequently. When they analyzed this data, they discovered that throughout history, countless incidents have occurred in all the world's waters. Compared to other locations, the Bermuda Triangle hasn't experienced an unusually high number of accidents. In terms of maritime incidents, it's just an ordinary place. They realized that this region is not actually the most dangerous maritime area in the world. This information showed the world that the stories surrounding the Bermuda Triangle were baseless and unfounded. In the last 200 years, 50 airplanes, 20 ships, and hundreds of people have lost their lives in this triangular region. However, it's important to note that this story pertains to the last 200 years, not the past 5 or 10 years. This triangle has never been a particularly dangerous place. Over the past 200 years, the incidents that occurred were fairly normal for the time periods in which they happened. Furthermore, most of these ships and airplanes were military vessels, which adds complexity to the matter. For example, in 1918, when the USS Cyclops sank and disappeared, was it due to a German submarine attack or a storm? The South China Sea is currently considered one of the most dangerous maritime areas in the world. The heavy traffic of ships and turbulent weather in the South China Sea has caused countless accidents, with over 200 ships sinking in the region in the past 10 years alone. However, no one refers to this area as being mysterious, like the Bermuda Triangle or the Philippine Sea, because the time period is different. Modern technologies and precise tools reveal everything, making it impossible to easily fabricate conspiracies, publish books, and become a millionaire. It's important to note that in the last 10 years, only one shipwreck has occurred in the Bermuda Triangle. In 2015, the American ship SSL Faro entered the area and became trapped in Hurricane Joaquin. The container ship sank, and all 33 crew members lost their lives. However, after the storm subsided, the wreckage of the ship was found, but the bodies of the crew members were never recovered. Today, accidents occur rarely because ships are equipped with weather satellites, radar, advanced navigational systems, and many other modern tools. It's not like in the past when ships sailed into the sea with no information and ended up caught in storms. For this reason, accidents in the Bermuda Triangle have decreased significantly, but the name Bermuda Triangle still persists. The South China Sea, which causes so many accidents, is notorious for its heavy traffic and bad weather. These factors not only sink ships, but also lead to collisions. There's another conspiracy theory worth mentioning. Many people today believe that the CIA was behind these stories, aiming to make the Bermuda Triangle appear dangerous and frightening during the Cold War. They argue that neither American fighter planes nor Navy ships actually went missing. Instead, these were just fabricated stories. We've come to understand how these stories became so famous, something that, according to this conspiracy theory, the CIA wanted to achieve. That was the whole story of the Bermuda Triangle. We hope you've understood the tale. But now, let's talk about another theory. Some people say that our washing machine is like the Bermuda Triangle. For example, we put a pair of socks inside, and one of them disappears. It's a mystery what happens to it. Of course, this is just a humorous take on the Bermuda Triangle theory. Thank you for staying with us until the end of the video.